Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. Hey man, I'm excited. We've got Colin Cooper from Tulsa here today.
Yeah.
Colin, man, thank you for taking time and being with us.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah. We were talking about right before we came on about the caption, and I don't know, I think Colin and I are going to mix pretty well with this show because of the stigma and also realizing that addiction doesn't discriminate. So this is going to be a great conversation. And we've got a new guest co-host. Usually this guy's in the background running the cameras while Brad's working. So Mason, thanks for being here, buddy.
What's up? From behind the scenes to the full scene.
Yeah.
Moving up, Mom, look.
Yeah, moving on up. We should play the Jefferson theme, right? Yeah. I love it.
We got it.
I love it. Gosh, Colin, I think you and I met for the first time it was one of the events, like sobriety event or something.
Yeah.
Was it at Liberty Park? The one at Liberty Park?
Yeah, it was we were just kind of planning on what we were going to do for recovery days.
Yeah.
I mean, I met you one time briefly at the Other Side Academy, but I was moving and doing stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That was one of my favorite places to go talk. I mean, seriously, and I'm not saying that just because you're here, and we've had so many guests, and I've built such a great relationship with Robin and Dave and Dylan and Derek, and I mean, the list goes on. Robert, the list continues. Corey or Clay, it just goes on. You know, the relationships that I've built, the friendships, has just been phenomenal. But really, I really enjoyed coming out last December and speaking to everyone, and I'm picking things up from Dave because he's a phenomenal speaker. I love what that guy does, and I'm still trying to get a time planned where he and I can sit down for lunch and he can give me some more tips. Because, I would love my talks to be as powerful as his because, man, he gets that message out.
He does.
He has a way of doing it.
Yeah,
so,
without a doubt.
Yeah. And again, we're huge supporters of the Other Side Academy here on the Other Side of Addiction. Huge supporters. I don't know how many times I've given Robin's phone number out to some individuals saying, look, man, if you're looking for a place and you don't have insurance, and if this person really wants help, give these guys a call because this is it.
I know that's unheard of, for a 2.5 year, place to get your life back together and you don't have to pay a dime. Like,
right.
That makes no sense, So it's amazing that we're able to do that because when I finally made it to the other side, I didn't have a dime. You know what I mean? My parents were done. My so-called friends weren't able to help me. I didn't have insurance. And I finally got to the place where I was broken and I needed help. And it's like, okay, well, where do you go? If you don't have anything, And so luckily I found the Other Side Academy.
And what I have seen just being around the Other Side Academy, the love and the friendships that are grown there it's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it really, you guys are just one huge family. Yeah. Really? Right? Yeah. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah. It's weird to think that I have a new 105 brothers and sisters now, but it's because all of us have the same purpose. All of us want something different. All of us want to be better than we were, and so when you get together and you have the accountability piece, you have the, all these things put into place to make your life better. And all you have to do is they say have faith, but I don't need faith. When I showed up, Dave was there, Chris Nelson, John Labuti, all these people, Tori, people that I knew from my past and that were totally different people. I didn't have to have blind faith. I saw these people as totally different people, and I was like, if this person can do it, if they can do it, I want what they have so bad, and I just jumped in.
Well, and again, you're seeing it right there, right? I mean, it's live. If that many people can go through this program and be where they're at today, there's the sales right there. I mean, there's the marketing, right?
Yep, without a doubt. So I've done. So just to tell you a little bit about me. So I've gone to 30, 60, 90-day programs all over the state of Utah. My family supported me at the very first. when going there, they'd pay for it and do everything for me to try to get me better, right? And none of those places ever worked for me, ever. It's putting a Band-Aid on something that's bigger than that. You know what I mean? We would talk about, how I needed to just stay away from the drugs and the alcohol and also not be better, and that wasn't the case. Drugs were never my problem. I know that sounds weird, and alcohol was never my problem. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
I've always been the problem. My choices I make, to take the easy way out when I should have done the right thing. You know what I mean? For being selfish, for being a liar, for, all those things are my behaviors. And that's why the other side is so different, is because we don't talk about drugs and alcohol. That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is our behaviors. Why did I sell out for this, or why was I being selfish in this situation when I could have helped somebody else, or why do I steal from my family that I supposedly love?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I learned. It took me a long time with my wife's battle with alcoholism, because I was one of those people too. It's like, just frickin' stop. Come on,
Yeah.
Just quit, not realizing that, that finger is doing this, going, oh, come on, you need that drink. You got to have that drink, because life sucks right now, so you got to have that drink, right? Yeah, it's easy for us on the other side. And one of the reasons, too, why I really wanted to do this podcast was to get rid of that stigma. And I was speaking about that today at a chamber luncheon. These are people's sons, daughters, moms, dads, aunts, uncles that are going through this battle. They're not pieces of shit that society pictures them as.
Yeah.
And I even said it today during the talk. The drugs, the alcohol, the porn, the gambling, the gaming, whatever it may be, the eating, that's just the Band-Aid. That's just something they're just trying to mask the problem. It's like, how many times have people had like blemishes on their face or whatever, and it's the makeup, right? They're just trying to hide it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about your life. I mean, are you originally from Salt Lake here?
I'm originally from Utah County.
Okay.
Born and raised in Orem, Utah. And lived in Orem till about 12, 13 years old, and then moved to Springville. A little bit different, a little smaller town, and everything like that. But did really good in school, didn't really have any problems, got along with everybody, had it, just, it didn't matter if you were a jock or if you were the nerd or whatever it was. Like, I just got along with everybody. I like people, I like being around people. And so made friends pretty quick, loved high school. And did really well in high school, played a lot of sports, loved sports. And did that thing. Had really good friends in high school. I remember being offered alcohol in high school for the very first time. And it didn't even cross my mind. It was absolutely no. I was raised LDS, and it was just a no. It was why would I need that? Why would I need that in my life? My life's good. Like, why? I didn't understand it. I just knew we weren't supposed to do it because that's what I was taught. And so I just stayed away from it. I remember offered like weed and pills, and same thing. It wasn't like I saw people here and there doing it, but that it didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't have any how do I say it? I didn't have any inkling or any want to do it, because my life or whatever, it just didn't make sense to me, And so I'd watch these people kind of do it here and there, and it never was a part of me, And then as high school got over, kind of making plans, what do I want to do? Do I want to go to college? Do I want to do this? And being LDS, and my family's a strong LDS family in the community, I decided to serve an LDS mission. And served an LDS mission in Portland, Oregon. It was a great experience for me, and everything like that. And where my addiction comes into play is on my mission, my back started hurting a little bit here and there. I was riding a bike and doing things, and my back was just kept hurting. And I'm a 19, 20-year-old young adult man, and why is my back hurting? It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense, because I'm an athlete. I'm in physical good shape. I'm doing these things, and couldn't figure it out. And so I went to a doctor out there. The doctor he was on his mission as well. So he just kind of said, okay, so let's give you some ibuprofen 800s, no big thing. And so I was taking those, and it kind of helped a little bit. And then I got put in a car, so my back problems just kind of settled down. Did that, got home from my mission, and went found a job, was being a server. Same thing, it started coming back, like pain all the time. I'm 21 years old, and I feel like an 80-year-old man. Like, I'm like, what is going on?
What the hell's happening?
Yeah, I go to work and I have to come home and ice it and put heat on it. It didn't make sense, And so finally, I just told my mom, like, hey, I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong, I don't know what it is or whatever. So we went and we saw a doctor. We got an MRI and did these things, and they said your L4 and L5 disc are torn and herniated. So probably happened playing sports. I don't know exactly when. I got hurt and just kind of worked through it and different stuff like that. But yeah, so and this is back in 2001, 2000 when we have no idea. About painkillers and the long-term effects they have and how addictive they are. It was so hush-hush that no one really knew, and nobody was really into it yet. And so the doctor, of course, gave me some pain pills, some muscle relaxers, and all of that. And I remember taking that first one, and not only did my pain in my back go away, but I felt like Superman. I had energy. I felt different.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why, and that was just taking it. And then as I progress with people in the restaurant industry, because I'm just this small town boy from Springville, Utah, and stayed away from all that. So then here comes the alcohol, So I'm kind of like, well, these people are drinking it and it looks like they're having fun. Like, why is this so wrong? So I started questioning. I had all these questions like, why is this wrong? I take this pill and it makes me feel better. Why is that wrong?
Yeah.
Why have all these things that I've been taught? Why are they wrong?
Especially when it's making me feel decent, right?
Yeah. Why is this bad? Like, I don't get why, And so eventually my story goes from taking pain pills to the Oxycontin. A guy I worked with, I forgot my pills one day, so I'm freaking out. I go into work and I'm freaking out, like, how am I going to get through my all day shift, standing. And I just told him, I said, hey, I got to go back to my house. I forgot my medicine. And he says, oh, we got medicine here. Don't worry about it. And I was like, no, you don't, bud.
Special
no,
medicine.
You don't. No, you don't. So he's like, come in. So we went back into his office and he put down an Oxy. And I hadn't seen what I was doing, like Percocets and other stuff before. But he put down this Oxy and it got kind of, so... he put it down and crushed it up, and I never sniffed pills, and he said to sniff it and not do all that, and same thing. After I did it, I felt like Superman. I thought I could do anything. I worked all day, that whole day, had the best attitude, just worked. Give me tables. My back didn't hurt. Like, I was friendly. I was confident. I had like this extreme amount of energy and just loved it. It was automatic. Fell in love with it.
Wow.
Yeah, automatically. And so I did that for every day. I'd go and ask him, hey, you got another one? And so he's like, dude, so then I started buying them from him. And then it got worse where I was buying his whole scripts from him, just everything from him and selling them. And it got to where all of a sudden now I'm a drug addict, and now I'm a drug dealer. People are coming into the restaurant, and I'm going back in the bathrooms and selling and working, and it was just a mess. And there was a assistant manager there that was kind of noticing, like, what is going on? Why are all these people like coming and not eating,
right? They're
and leaving,
going. Yeah.
So one day he followed me in the bathroom, and he caught me doing it, and he fired me. It was okay because I was like, oh whatever. I'm making way more
still
money.
Making money. Yeah.
So I did that for a while, and the guy that I was buying them from, all of a sudden he got cut off. Like, I don't know what happened. I was supposed to meet him, and do our thing every month. We do this, our thing. And the doctor just cut him off, said, I'm only giving you this much. And so those were his personal use. And so now all of a sudden he comes back. He's like, I don't have anything. And I was like, what? Like, I've been doing this for, I don't know, maybe a year at this point, selling, getting whatever, and now he doesn't have it. And I have people calling me because they, I was out and trying to re-up, and it was just like, now what?
No kidding, right?
So
I'm unemployed.
Yeah. I know. And so then I'm thinking, okay, now what? And then all of a sudden I start getting sick. And up to this point, I never knew what withdrawals were. Like, all these people would call me and say, hey man, I'm sick, that didn't make sense to me, because I always had it. Like, I always had it. I never knew what withdrawals were or anything like that. So now all of a sudden I start feeling sick, and I'm like, what? And so I told the people that I was around, I was like, hey man, I think I have like a cold or a flu or something. And they're like, no, you're going through withdrawals. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going through withdrawals. Like, no. From what? And they're like, yeah, from your oxys, you're going through withdrawals. And it never dawned on me like that could happen, or this is. And so I remember going 3-4 hours, and I'm getting sick. I'm starting to throw up and do all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, now maybe this is why these are bad.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting sicker, the day is going on. So then I'm calling all these clients, if you will, for lack of better words,
Right.
I'm calling them and say, hey, can you find me something? I got money. I'll pay for whatever, and no one could find anything. And so I'm getting sicker and sicker, and I'm like, oh, what is going on? So eventually, there's this girl that was there with one of my friends, and she was a heroin addict, and I knew that. And so she came up to me and was like, as I'm throwing up, and hey man, do you want some of this? Do you want some of this heroin? And no, heroin's for junkies. I'm not a junkie.
Right.
Get that out of my face, And so, an hour or two passes again, and I'm dying, and I'm trying to call people, this and that. And so she comes up to me again. She's like, hey man, this will make you feel better. It's the same exact stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. That's junkies. And she's like, you can sniff it. And I don't know why in that moment, but because I just thought you had to shoot heroin.
Right.
Because everything I've seen up to this point is people shoot heroin. That's what you do. And so she's like, no, you can sniff it. And that was when I made the choice to be like, that's okay. So I remember I did heroin for the first time that day. Same thing, same feeling, like I said before with the oxys. All of a sudden I wasn't sick anymore. I felt great. I was ready to conquer the world. It's this false sense of, I can do whatever I want now, And so then it led to heroin. I go from an LDS missionary to slamming heroin. How does that happen?
Yeah.
And
it sounded like it happened in a pretty quick time frame, right? Within a couple years?
Yes. Really quick.
And it happens before you even realize it, right, Colin? I mean, again, kind of going back to the presentation I did today at the chamber, letting people know that people just don't wake up one day and go, I'm going to be an addict.
Yep.
It's going to be my career.
Yep.
I'm going to be the best damn addict there is. So, I don't have to have a resume. Let's just go do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not what it is.
No.
People find themselves getting in deep. And by the time they do find themselves this deep in, it's usually got a hold of them so strong that they don't know what to do to get the hell out.
Yep.
And they're stuck with that feeling, right? Because my wife, with her alcoholism, that's how it was for her. Mm-hmm. And then it got worse, of course, because you do it so much. Well, and then you don't do it because she's in rehab for 30 days. As soon as she gets out, she's like, oh, man, I need that feeling. Yep. So she's doing it as fast as she can to get that feeling as fast as she can, which goes right past the feeling she's looking for and puts her in a whole different area. Yeah, it's just that roller coaster. And
it creeps up on you. Like, I'm not sure if you heard this story, but I grew up LDS as well. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing this story about, like, this guy who interviewed the devil. and the devil showed like all these weapons of mass destruction and like bombs and cranes and all that. But then he was like, so what's your favorite? And then he just opens this little box and pulls out a pick and a chisel. And he goes, this one, because all I got to do is just tap a little and little and let them crumble themselves. And so like, it just like how you said, it doesn't discriminate. Like it's little by little. Like it's not like, you know, you don't just choose, like it's just maybe this. And then it's just like, oh, snorting, like that connected. Yeah. Because like with mine was smoking. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, you can smoke that. Oh, you can like, same thing. Okay. I guess it's easier because, you know, I'm not doing this. Yep. So I guess I'm not an addict because I'm not doing what they do in the movies, man. So I'm not.
The big lie.
No way. Yeah, the big lie. Like the gateway in any way. Like nothing really is a specific gateway, but the gateway is how easy it is, or how simple it is, or how it can relate to yourself. Yeah. So I like that.
I remember looking back, if you would have told me I would be addicted to crack and heroin when I was in high school, I would have looked at you and just laughed. Like, who are you? Yeah. No way. You know, like that, going from that person to the person I became was not totally different people. You know what I mean? And looking back, like I said before, like, how did I get there? You know? And like that's why I think it's so important to be educated on what these do, and that's like because back then no one knew, no one knew what painkillers did back then. You know, I mean they knew a little bit, but the word wasn't out like it is today. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like opioid pandemic. You know, and it's we either want to get on board or we want to stuff it under the rug. You know, who do you want to be? Do you want to help the next person? Because you never know. You know, maybe Joe and Sally have a son that just started into it, you know, and then I have this addiction, but I'm not going to say anything to anybody or let people know. I could be helping this person, you know, but it's been so hush hush and let's not talk about it, you know. This LDS community, like, you know, we're not perfect, you know.
Well, and I agree with you 100%, Colin. It needs to be spoke about. Yeah. You know, we had Darlene Schultz on our show. She was like our third or fourth show. I don't remember when we first started doing this. She works for USARA. She does also the family support group. And her son died of an overdose of heroin. And she was saying during the show, and it just stays so vivid in my mind the way she said it. She goes, now, if I went around and told my friends and my neighbors that my son had cancer, people would be, I'm sorry, what can we do to help? Yeah. You know, do you need something? Yep. And she goes, but if I told my friends and neighbors that my son was a heroin addict, no one's knocking on my door to bring me casserole. No. And that's how she put it. Yeah. No, that's how she put it. Can I get and she's potatoes? 100% right? Yeah. I've reached out to some high schools to see if I could come out and speak, you know, to talk about my wife's battle with alcoholism and talk about what I have learned from guests like you. Yeah. And they're like, principal, nope. And I know one of the guys that runs the Jordan School District, and I've reached out to him before and other things, and he goes, it's up to the principals. There's nothing we can do. It's up to the principals. And I'm like, why the heck? Because really where it should start, I would rather go to junior highs and talk to junior high school students than high schools, because the majority of the people we've had on the show, everything started at the age, like around puberty, between 11 to 13 to 14 years old, right in between that span. Yeah, that's when things start clicking and changing. Yep. You know, our youngest alcoholic that's on the show, he was a full-blown alcoholic by the time he was in junior high. He started drinking at age 5 years old. Dang. And it's that, like, as soon as he took his first drink, he's like, I'm in heaven. I love this stuff. Yeah. You know? So, we need to talk about it. That's why it's important to have you guys like on the show to come out and talk about it and share, because like myself and so many of our other guests, man, we save one life, we change one life. Everything we've gone through has been worth it, right? Because it's just going to snowball from there.
Whole domino effect.
Yeah, domino effect,
Yeah. That's what, like, a lot of things. I remember like being in grade school and the DARE program, comes in, and just being, you know, I'm fifth grade, and for me, you know, that was ages ago, you know, but just say no, okay, I'm okay, just say no, okay, that's fine, whatever. But why should I just say no? Yeah, you know, have somebody come in like who's been there. This is why you should say no, you know. I've been in and out of prison. I've lost my family. I've lost countless people in my life, this is why this is bad. You know what I mean? Because if you tell me, oh, just say no and let's just drop it at that, you know, that never worked for me. I've been the type of person, like, you tell me the stove is hot, well, I want to touch it. I want to see why.
Yeah.
You
Why
know?
is it hot?
Kids,
So,
that's why all the time, man. Like, those annoying little kids. Like, it's like, do that. Why? It's like, you don't just say no because I said so. You say because I said so. The kid's like, well, okay.
And usually the no is the reason why they want to do it.
Well, and as human beings, that's what we live for. We want to know. We want to learn. We want to grow. Whether it's good or bad, our experiences develop us into who we are today. Exactly. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's why I think if we can educate people on a different level, not just say no, you know, or let's not talk about it. How does that help anybody?
Yeah.
You know?
and it doesn't. That is one of the worst things that I believe that society can do is not talk about it, right? We had this gal who's been a guest co-host and a guest on our show, and gosh, we miss her. We miss having her around, that's for sure. She ended up having a baby, so she hasn't been around for a while, which is understandable. And LDS, and she was asked by her bishop to get up and do a talk at sacrament. And so she just had this feeling that, okay, so she got up and she talked about her husband's sex addiction. And she even said on the show, the looks that she was getting, like some of the people were like, you're not supposed to talk. This is church.
Yeah.
You know? And she goes, it's so crazy because a lot of the women that would always talk to her after sacrament wouldn't come out and talk to her anymore. Now, there were others that came up and went, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why we need to talk about it. Right there. Because she put a spark in a couple people.
Yeah.
And they want to know why, because there's something going on in their family. Maybe not with their husband, but it could be with their child or whatever.
Yeah.
This is exactly why we talk about it. Because you don't know whose life you're going to change, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's the most important thing, you know, because I feel like if we don't talk about it, you know, people feel like if we don't talk about it, it's just going to go away.
It does.
No, it's getting worse, and that's the reality of this. It's getting worse, you know, and not educating, you know, the kids and different people. It's just going to get worse, you know, and that's the scary thing, you know. You know, we've pushed it down for so long. It's like, okay, you guys need to open your eyes and wake up to what's going on around you. You know, there's no more shoving it under the rug. You know.
It never works because eventually you see what's under the rug. Yeah. You see that heap, you lift it over. Like, I think, like, the biggest part is, like, the education of it all. Like, what is in everything. Because it's like, oxycodone. Oh, wait, what? That's heroin as well? Yeah. Adderall. What? That's also meth? Yeah. Like, so it's like, pick your poison. Like, it's all the same thing. No one even, like, puts that. Because the doctor gives me this, so I'm fine.
So it's okay.
There's no way I'm an addict. I just have ADHD and I need my Adderall all the time. That's meth, dude. Yeah. Like, education is the biggest thing, and they're not educating. Even Dare didn't even educate. It was just say no.
Yep. Right. And I agree with you, Mason, on that. The education is huge. I mean, because I even learned something today in the earlier show. Mm-hmm. You know, when Beth was saying that 7 million people, 7 million people have lost their lives from opioids. And I was talking about, well, can you imagine if we added the alcohol and the heroin? And then she goes, no, the heroin, I put that in the opioids. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, now I get it. I understand. Yeah. So I'm being educated as well. And so, the education needs to be put out there, because I don't know how many times I've heard people say where they will put down an addict or an alcoholic. And when they're looking at addicts, they're talking about, like, heroin, putting a needle in their arm, whatever, smoking crack, whatever. Yeah. But when you know who they are and you see them open up their purse, or you see them get in their pocket and open a little pill bottle and open it up, and it's like, oh, what's that? And it's like you said, oh, I've got a pain in my back or my shoulder or whatever, and I just take this. And it's like, okay, well, you're knocking these people. Yeah. You're in the same category, basically. But again, my doctor prescribed these to me, so it's okay. You know, and really, I mean, of course, the Sacklers, when they started this Oxy, I mean, the salespeople, they trained them to really, it's basically put the sheets over these doctors' eyes, because they had these doctors believing, oh my gosh, you invented an opioid that's 1% chance of being addicted to. It's non-addictive. Oh my gosh, why wouldn't I want it? And a lot of these doctors really cared about their patients. And of course, they did it in the small towns of Virginia, or the coal mining towns, where injuries were very prevalent because of the jobs that they had. Man, they planned this whole thing, and it turned out exactly the way they wanted it to turn out. They've made trillions and trillions of dollars, but they've created such an epidemic in the United States and elsewhere that, man, it's just so deep. And I think people are finally starting to see it. And we're finally starting to say, you know what, it's time we start digging our ass out. And now you do. You go downtown or you go on I-15 and you see billboards all the time, right, about opioids. And doctors are, I mean, my mom is 76 years old and she just slipped on some ice and fell last week. Had to go to the emergency center. Luckily, she didn't break anything, thank goodness. And when I called to check on her, and she's like, oh, I'm in so much pain. I feel like my insides have just been jarred, and everything is checked out. And I'm like, well, did they give you any painkillers? She says, no. I'm like, are you serious, Mom? They didn't? She goes, no, they just told me to go get some Tylenol and ibuprofen. She says, and I told the doctor I can't take it because it has my stomach issues. I just can't take it. Yeah. And luckily she had some pain stuff. But of course, my mom's smart on, she goes, well, I just take like a little teeny, like a quarter of a one. And I just take it ever so often because, again, if she took a whole one, it would get her sick. Yeah. It's and I know there's times for it, right? There's times for it. It's good to see that there are doctors out there now that are really starting to pay attention to it and going, really, do you really need this, or can we get by with some ibuprofen 800s or something, right? Yep. Yeah.
Alternative medicine. I'll say it. Alternative
medicine. Yeah. So, gosh, how much time have we gone? Have we gone in a half hour? Almost a half hour. Let's hurry and stop for a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, I'd like to know more about where things kind of went from there, because you lost your job. Yeah. You're having a hard time finding Oxycontin. Someone finally offers you something else to snort it. That was your click. Like, this is cool. I don't have to stick a needle in my arm or whatever. I'm sure everything plummeted from there.
Yep.
Cool.
Which it always does. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever been in a car accident? Do you know what to do after being in a car accident? Are the insurance companies going to take care of you? Hi, I'm attorney Rick Heaton with the Law Office of Bobby Udall. I will help you through the process and answer all of these questions. I give every single client my cell phone so they can talk to me whenever they need. Let me deal with the insurance company so you can focus on getting better from your injuries. Call me at 385-330-0226. Again, my cell phone number, 385-330-0226. Don't call the insurance company first. Call attorney Rick Heaton at 385-330-0226.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.
Good morning, this is Leticia with Computer Hospital. We are your computer repair experts for both PC and Mac. We are your community resource for all of your computer repair needs. What makes us different is that we want to fix your computer. We also do free diagnostics. We charge a flat rate labor, which means that you won't pay by the hour. All of our computer repair is done in-house with a fast turnaround time, and same-day service is also available. Feel free to stop by anytime without an appointment. We're located in Sandy at 8721 South State Street. Again, that's 8721 South State Street, or call us at 801-987-3993. Again, that's 801-987-3993. This is Leticia with Computer Hospital, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello there, this is Brad Neufeld with the Resilience Talk Network, and I would like to introduce to you Taffytown, one of our newest sponsors. Let me introduce you to Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek from Taffytown. We're proud sponsors of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Taffytown is a family-owned and operated business still operating in the Salt Lake City area for over 100 years. We manufacture some of America's best saltwater taffy.
What makes Taffytown stand out from all of the others?
We have a unique recipe, a whip-style recipe that incorporates egg whites, evaporated milk, real sea salt. It's a unique product that is flavorful, melts in your mouth, and the best part is we probably have a flavor for anyone's liking, a flavor for any reason, for any season. We have unique flavors like chicken and waffles, maple bacon, frosted cupcake. New this year was a pineapple ghost pepper flavor.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more about Taffytown and all of its products?
You can check all of this stuff out. All of our products are available for sale on taffytown.com. We ship for free from our website, so all of our pricing on there is shipping included. Oftentimes we offer special promotions and discounts to our loyal customers, so do be sure to sign up for an account, and we look forward to seeing what we can do to make you smile with our taffy.
Where are you located?
We are currently located at 9813 South Prosperity Road in West Jordan, Utah, just at the foothills of the Copper Canyon mine.
Derek, taffy has always been a great gift to give. What are some of the creative ways Taffytown can help say thank you to others?
Yeah, if you're looking for gift ideas, whether to say thank you to friends or family, or maybe to your clients after such a difficult or successful year that you've had, you could look no further than to get a gift idea from taffytown.com. We offer pre-packaged gift boxes that say that it's saltwater taffy from the city of the Great Salt Lake, and it tells a little bit about the history of our community and making candy for so long. You can also do customized gifts to pick out just the right flavors or colors of candy for that special someone, and deliver even a personalized message in that box to them. So please feel free to check out taffytown.com for any gift ideas this season.
Thank you so much, Derek. Please visit taffytown.com, that's taffytown.com, to find out more about the products and services that Taffytown offers. You won't be disappointed.
Do you know someone who's gambling with death due to an addiction? Do you know someone whose life is being turned upside down due to a loved one that's battling with addiction? Hi, I'm Al Richards. I am the host of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I started the podcast due to my wife's battle with alcohol. Let's just say I became addicted to her addiction. Our podcast is helping people understand a little more about those who have battled addiction and those who are hurting from their addiction. Through raw vulnerability, we share stories that help uncover the root causes of addiction. Shame felt on both sides, matter of the conscious and subconscious mind, continued beliefs, and often confusing paths of recovery. We collaborate with real people and their stories, as well as licensed professionals, to help our audience gain a better understanding of addiction. You can find us on Resilience Talk Network. You can also find us on Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. That's Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Other Side of Addiction. We are here with our special guest again, Colin Cooper, and our guest co-host, Mason, for the very first time. So, Matt, I loved, Colin, where the first part of this story went. We had a gentleman on our show probably a couple months ago who I met out at Recovery Day.
Okay.
And his name was Ronnie Hernandez. And it's kind of crazy because his was a little opposite of yours. You grew up LDS, went on a mission. He grew up in the gang, selling drugs, running drugs, California, Utah.
Yeah.
Wanting to get out of the stuff. Knew life was not going in the direction he needed to go. And then ended up going on a mission.
Oh, really?
So it was like totally opposite.
Yeah.
You know,
we switched places.
Yeah, again, it's where we were talking about before the show. Addiction doesn't discriminate.
No.
Doesn't give a shit what color skin you are, what religion you are, what type of family you were brought up in. You know, and some have been brought up in families, you know, where, like Robert, you know, from the Other Side Academy. You know, Robert grew up in the gang life, and you know, I think I remember his story, you know, sitting in the kitchen doing drugs with his parents like at age 6 or 7 years, just seeing it. That's just how it was. That's how life was lived, you know? So, yeah. So, right before the break, you were talking about your boss followed you in the restroom, caught you selling some drugs, lost your job. And anyway, things started drying up. Your dealer kind of like disappeared. Nothing was happening, and you were calling all over. You ended up snorting the heroin, right? Yep. Is that correct? And things kind of took off from there. And I'm sure life probably took a huge turn then.
Yeah. So once it went from the oxys, you know, to heroin, it was downhill. I wasn't working anymore. My whole life revolved around getting and selling, you know, heroin and cocaine. You know, so that was my full-time job now. You know, now I'm a full blown addict, selling and using. You know what I mean? And that went on for a while, for a long time. And then of course, you know, you start using more, you need more, the money, everything like that. You don't have as much money, and this and that. So you start stealing. You start doing things that. There's things I stole from my family which I would never do, which if you would, same thing, you would have took me back 10 years before that and said, hey, you're going to be an addict, you're going to be a full-blown addict, and you're going to steal from your family. I would have looked at you and told you were the biggest liar in the world. You know, that's not who I am. You know, and that's where it came to, you know. And I remember I went to the bank, and said, hey, I want to take some money out of this account. And so I don't know how this happened, but the teller was like, well, you have 2 accounts. I was like, what do you mean 2 accounts? She's like, yeah, there's like $100 in this one account, and then there's, you know, a lot of money in this other one. Which one account do you want to take it out of? well, duh, you know, come on.
Yeah,
you know,
shit.
I'm the full-blown addict, and you're telling me I have a shitload of money that I can just take? She was like, yeah, you're on, and I was like, okay, yeah, give me $300 out of that account, you know. So I took $300 out, and I did that every day for the next month and a half. And so what that money was for is for my mom and dad. They were going to remodel our house and everything like that. And so finally, my mom or my dad, I don't know who. This is 20 years ago. And go to the bank and go to get some money out, and they find out all this money is gone, and how is this possible? You know, and they look at the withdrawals. Of course, my name's all over it every day.
Yeah.
And that's when the first time my mom and dad freaked out, and because they, up until this point, they really didn't know what I was doing or anything. That I kind of stayed away from the family, told them I was busy all the time, you know, not showing up because, you know. I just didn't want to be around them because I'm doing all this shady stuff, you know. And so then they find out and they can't press charges because it was an account that my name was on. If anything was to happen to them, you know, type thing, that the money would go to me because I'm the oldest. I have 4 younger brothers, you know, and that's when they were like, we're done. We're done. We're kicking you out, you know, this and that. And so I went and lived with my grandparents. And as I'm staying with my grandparents, they're trying to figure it all out and stuff. And all of a sudden the police show up to my grandparents' house, you know, and that was the first time I was arrested. I was arrested for distribution charges of cocaine and heroin, possession of cocaine and heroin, you know, and when they were arresting me, I was super high. And so I felt like a movie or something. It didn't feel real to me, you know, until the next morning when I wake up. I wake up and I'm in this cell, somebody's shaking me, you know, Cooper, you got court. And I'm coming to, and I'm like, what is going, you know? And all of a sudden I'm in jail, and I'm all, what, you know? Go to court, and they, you know, the bail was crazy, so I'm calling my mom, you know, and trying, you know, mama's boy, help me, I'm in jail. It's just like all the movies, and it's like a day camp, you know, jail. It's just people are, you know, there that have addictions or theft problems, and you know, when you first go to jail, that's what it is. You know, it's just people there that need some help. You know, and so I'm making lies up like this is the worst place ever. You know, which, you know, I chose to go there. Yeah, my actions chose to go there, but it's everybody else's fault. It's the cops' fault, you know, but they come into my grandparents' house, dude. My grandparents are old, man. They come in the door like, you know, like I did that to my grandparents, man. And I still feel bad about it, you know, to this day. Since I was out the other side, both my grandparents passed, you know. But the coolest thing about the other side is I got to show up to both their funerals clean and sober.
That is so cool.
I got to lay them to rest clean and sober. You know, and they know what I'm doing, you know, so that's the cool thing, you know. These are the things that come after, you know, because as part of growing and learning, you know, and changing your life, you kind of have to wreck it. You kind of have to destroy your old beliefs and how you did, you know, for those 19 plus years. When I got to the other side, I had to destroy all of that other stuff, you know. If I'm not willing to look at things differently, I'm not able to learn. If I think this is how it's going to be, and that's how I thought it should be, I thought I was going to be a drug addict the rest of my life. That's what the judge told me. That's what my AP&P officer told me. That's what the cops that arrested me told me, that I was just going to be a drug addict, you know. That's all they told me, you know. And when I got to the other side, they said I could be whatever I wanted to be, you know, and I believed them. You know, you fell for it, and it's good you did.
Right? I mean, basically, you did. You fell for it. You stopped listening to the negativity and started listening to the positivity, right?
But and that's what we do is like we shame all these people for being addicts and alcoholics and everything like that, and it's you don't know that person. You see what you see in front of you. You see, like if you saw me under a bridge, that person made those choices to be that. And granted, they did, but they don't know the whole story.
Yeah, you know to a certain point they chose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and so they you don't know the whole story, and until you know somebody's story, you know, and know where they came from, or you know their background, you know. Like the whole topic today, you know, it doesn't discriminate, you know. I didn't come from a poor family. My mom and dad were doing drugs with me. If anything, they were telling me no, you know. It doesn't matter, but they don't, you know. If you would have saw me, you know, 6 years ago, you'd be like, oh gosh, this guy is a heroin addict. He wants to do, you know, that he'd made those choices or whatever. They don't know what led me up to that, you know. They don't know the pain or things that I was trying to run from, because that's all we're doing is we're covering up things with whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we get to know the person, you know, everyone, like you said at the first, we're all sons, we're all daughters, we're all fathers, uncles, you know, grandsons, you know, that have stories, you know. And until we look at the person as a person and not this addict and tell them, hey, you know, let's do something different, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's never too late. You know, it's never ever too late to change. You know, to a direction. If you make your mind up that you want to do something, and you're like, by golly, I'm going to do it, and you want to make that change, you start taking those steps towards that change, right? And I don't want to knock all rehabs down, because they're needed. You know, there's a lot of good rehabs out there. My wife went through 8 of them. You know, a couple of them I wish she wouldn't have gone through, and I'll be nice and won't say who they are. Yeah, I'll just be nice. I almost let some stuff out.
Everything has its purpose.
Everything has its purpose. You know, but I do like how the Other Side Academy lets you guys know, look, there is a choice. And my wife, so many times, she's like, I've lost everything. You know, I've probably lost you, and she lost the grandkids. My daughter and her husband wouldn't let her see the grandkids, even though she was never drunk around them. But it was that in their life, out of their life, in their life, out of their life. They didn't want that anymore for them, which I understand. Yeah. That's their call, not mine.
Yep.
And, you know, she was on the streets, then not on the streets, and in jail, out of jail. And, you know, she's like, my life will never be the same. Well, yes, it could be better.
Yeah.
Just decide, and again, that's where I also do believe the choice comes in. You choose. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to sit here every day, feel sorry for yourself, and medicate yourself by pouring this frickin' liquid down your throat that is just causing more problems in your life? You're escalating it. Yeah. Instead of putting it out, you're escalating it. Which direction do you want to go? You know, and luckily she had, which I told her was the umpteenth time when she was in jail, and she said God came and visited me, and he held me in his arms and said, this is your last chance. You're not going to have any more. And, of course, what did she do as soon as she got out of jail? Went to the liquor store and got her some booze. Yeah. But that's when she almost died. I mean, she literally looked like death, and that's when she started going, you know what, something's got to happen here. It's got to change.
Yeah.
And things started going the directions. You know, now she gets to go see the grandkids play soccer.
Yep.
You know, she's still struggling finding a job because of her background, because of an assault charge. She's still struggling with that, which kind of goes back to a whole different show of we want people to get off the streets and get their life back on track.
Yeah.
And they do that, and then society wants them to kick them back out on the streets because of their past.
Yeah.
So which one is it? You know, which one do you want, people?
I know.
You know, pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one. Let them be the addicts on the street and leave them the hell alone, or help them get their lives back on track, right? And I think I don't think that's what the Other Side Academy does.
No, it's definitely a uphill struggle for sure. If you get, you know, if you get a felony on your record, that goes wherever you go.
Yeah.
Job, you try to get an apartment, a loan, anything that pops up. You know what I mean? And it's extremely difficult, you know. But the other side also has told me, you know, regardless of that stuff, the way I am today, the way I show up for people, I'll go and sit in a room with you, and I'll let you know, hey, yeah, that was my past, but I am not that person anymore. Mm-hmm. I am not that person. That was my past, but I've done some serious work on myself to never go back to that ever again. You know, you know, whether it's a job interview or anything, if you hire somebody else, I'm going to go work for your competition, and you're going to wish that you would have hired me
no kidding,
because
right?
I will work harder. You know, because I had to. Yeah. You know, I don't have a backup plan. I am the backup.
Exactly right. You are the backup. 100%.
100%. I am. You know, I can't fail anymore because I am. You know, and that's what the other side's given me is a second chance, man. When people wanted to give up on me, the other side didn't. The other side said I was more.
Yeah, that's something. One of the things I love about that place. I mean, it really is. I am so grateful and blessed that my friend TJ ended up introducing me to Robin. I remember the first time I called Robin, we chatted on the phone. She's like, come out and visit us. You know, she was there at the door the day I showed up, got the tour. She took me into Dave's office. I got to meet Dave. I still got the picture of my phone from the first day I met this guy. You know, and I'm thinking, holy shit, who the hell is this guy? You know,
right?
and it's like, man, this is really cool. And he's kind of telling me stories. And at first, and Dave, I don't know if I ever told you this, but at first I'm thinking, this is a guy who's effing ego's like up here, you know. But then as I started learning more about this guy, and I watched his YouTube videos, and thinking, I'm going, no, man, that's not who this guy is. This guy is full of love and care,
Oh, yeah.
and he's out there to make a change. And it's incredible, of what him and so many of you guys out there are doing.
Yeah. He's so he was one of the very first person I talked to at the other side. So my mom of course comes and picks me up to take me, right? Because I can't do anything by myself. I'm 38 years old, and mom is taking me to another rehab, and so my mom takes me, and we're sitting on the bench, and Dave comes up to me, and starts talking to me like, why you want to be here? Well, I'm this, I'm that. And then he asked me a question like he always does, and I've seen it thousands of times since I've been there. He asked me a question. He says, do you love your mom? Of course the answer, always yes. So yeah, I'm like, I look at him like, duh.
That's stupid.
That's a dumb question. Why would you ask me that?
Yeah.
Of course I love my mom. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I love my mom. And he's like, he looked at me and looked at her, and he says, I would hate to see, how you treat people that you hate. Because if you love your mom and this is how you're treating her, man. And I lost it.
Wow.
I lost it. And that's why I knew that place was different. No one's ever talked to me like that, first off.
Yeah.
And for me not to get crazy or say something back to him. But in that moment, he was 100% true. And I knew he was true. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at her, and she just started crying, and I started crying, and I was like, and I hold that feeling with me today, all the time. Anytime I, kind of go on a little, stupid thought or something, I remember that day. Like I take it out and look at it and feel it is seeing my mom like that, and it's just like, I never want to put any of my family members, I've got a relationship back with them today that I didn't have for a long time. My brothers were extremely disappointed in me, were angry with me. I'm the oldest of four boys, and I'm supposed to be the leader and the example, and I let them down in every way, shape and form,
Yeah.
and it hurts. But my relationships today with my family are completely different, and it's because we did go through hard things, and we came out the other side better people. Like my relationship with both with my brothers and my mom and my dad today are extremely important to me, and I'm not willing to give that up today.
Right.
Absolutely not.
And I was to a point, there for a long time, even in my life, family was just family. It was just whatever. I've got two beautiful daughters and great kids. My ex-wife did a phenomenal job raising these girls. And as I've gotten older and kind of started going through my journey from 2009 up to this point, family is everything to me, to be able to go spend Thanksgiving with my family. And my ex-wife is even there at Thanksgiving dinner, with my wife and I and the kids, and it means a lot to my daughters that their mom and dad can actually be there, even though they're not married. They can still be there and be civil, and and family is everything. And we all go through certain traumas in our life, right? Some of us go through worse things than others, and a lot of times there's some bad shit that happens to us out there. What direction do we want to take that? Do we want to take this as, like you said, that learning experience and go, you know what? I'm going to frickin' make something of this. Yeah. And, even like this podcast. If, like you were saying, man, if someone asked me 3 years ago, you're going to be a host of a podcast and talk about addiction, I'd be like, yeah, right. No way. And my wife takes credit. She's like, the only reason why you're doing the podcast is because of me. And she's right. She's right. Her addiction is what led me down this path, and this is my why. It's crazy. This is my why now, to want to be in this studio. I mean, hopefully, it will happen. this is what both Brad and I want to do every single day. We want to be in the studio. We want to have incredible people on like yourself and have these conversations and get it out there in the world, man. Letting people know, hey, that person that you saw on the street a year ago, look at him now.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, everyone that I've met on this show, who's come on the show, they've told me some stuff, and I'm just going, I mean, even some of these women have been gangbangers, and I'm just like, no way.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm full of tats. It's like, well, people have tats all the time anymore. It doesn't mean they're a gangbanger.
Yeah.
But you got to be kidding me. You know, and you see who they are, and they're productive, and they're helping so many other people out there that are struggling. And we can't do it alone, right? We can't.
No.
We need people behind us, and it's people who love us and care about us and who believe in us, even though they don't know you. Like the Other Side Academy, they didn't know you.
No.
You just come walking in on the streets with your mom, sitting there on a bench, and you know, Dave's drilling you, which that's probably what he's known for.
Yeah.
But you know, they don't know you from Adam.
No.
But they know what's inside here. They know the potential that's inside there, right?
They know the feeling. They know the feeling of being hopeless. You know, Dave. You know, that's the coolest thing about the Other Side Academy is I don't have a doctor. You know, I'm not gonna like bash doctors or therapists or anything like that, because they have a purpose and they help. But I don't. I've been to other places, you know, and done that route. But it wasn't until somebody who's actually been where I have, who's slept under a bridge, who, you know, has lost their friend in their arms due to an overdose or things like that to my nature. That's the biggest thing is I'm gonna listen to them. You know, if this is the best analogy I can give. Okay. So let's say I'm a male doctor, right? And I'm trying to relate to a woman who's pregnant and how birthing and all that feels and everything. I can't. Right. I can't. You know, I can tell you my experience as a doctor, but I can't tell you how it feels to give birth to a child. I've never done that. You know, and it's like. And so when Dave or Chris or any of these people, Robert, or any of these people tell me exactly what it was and I tell them how it is, they know and they understand, you know what I mean?
Lived it.
Yeah, and so that's what things are different for me, because I believe them. You know, a person who's sold dope for 30 years and in and out of jails and prisons, just like me, has this life and is happy and smiling and wants to help other people. Like, I want that. Give it to me. That's the new, if you know, for lack of better words, that's my new drug of choice.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what Clay said. That was his kind of title. It's like, helping others is like his new high.
It is.
Basically, it is.
Yeah. Because I honestly, like, even right before I came, I was on the phone with somebody trying to get them from the library to the Other Side Academy, dude. You know, they had lost their way. And I remember being that exact same person, you know, and giving it back, dude. I love the Other Side because not only do, like I said, I have my family back in my life, but I have the Other Side Academy, which is my new family too. I have two families. Like, who can say that they have two families? Right. You know, and both my families I know would do anything for me. You know, and it didn't matter about the money I had in my pocket or the dope I had in my pocket. That's why we were friends. No, it's because of what I have inside of me, my heart. You know, who I want to be.
That's exactly what it is.
Energy exchange, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
high off of it. Yeah, like hugs, like because like even when like when I was during my homeless time, like people didn't even want to touch you. When you got like a hug from a random person, you're like, I don't need anything. I'm on top of the world. So like like that energy exchange, it's a beautiful thing. And so like feeling someone else's happiness, feeling someone's just other emotions, or someone that you can relate your emotions with. Yeah, I think that's for sure high. People just don't acknowledge
absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, and it really is such a huge high. So there's this cute little gal that works the front counter at the gym. Her name's Olivia. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's actually her last day. I'm so bummed to see her go. She's, I think, 20 years old. She's a very vibrant go-getter, works hard, and she's just this cutest little gal. I've kind of almost like adopted her as a daughter in a way, you know. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write her a thank you card. And so Wednesday or Tuesday night, I went home and I wrote a thank you card. And I just said, hey, thank you for your lovely smile. Every morning I walk in here at 6 o'clock in the morning. or at 6:30 in the morning, and you've got this big smile, hi Al, and you're always so joyful. And I said, I just want you to know how much that means to me, that, you've got that beautiful smile, and you're just so full of love and life, and thank you for keeping the place clean and all this. And I slipped $20 in this thank you card, and she wasn't at the desk when I walked in, so I just kind of reached over and put her on the computer thing. And I'm going out there and I'm doing my workout, and I went over to this other room to grab some bands because I was going to go to this other room to do my stretching. And she comes walking over, and she goes, thank you. She goes, I'm even tearing up thinking about it. She goes, you made me cry this morning. And she goes, thank you for that card. That meant the world to me. It's just that small little teeny, I probably wouldn't even had to put $20 in there, and she still would have got that same feeling. Yeah. Just letting someone know how much you appreciate them for even just the smallest things. Man, I felt so freaking on cloud nine that whole day. Going, I just made that young girl feel amazing, and I even put in it, I wish you the best in life and love, because she's still young and still kind of building her life, deciding which way she wants to go. And I really mean it, so that
one little act of kindness.
Yeah.
You never, know.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like how, like, even just that small thing, because, like, I mean, addicts, homeless people, like, mental illness, like, everything they're doing and everything is to escape from feeling, or they don't feel, or like how they treat them, like just that simple grace, like the universe, whatever, their grace, man, like that simple act of kindness or love of any kind, that's better than $20, because I could use that $20 to like go get it again. But if I show love and acceptance to someone, they're like, whoa, maybe I can change. Maybe I can do those things, because there's someone who just saw me, a complete stranger, who just saw this book that was all torn up and everything, didn't even have to read it and be like, that's a book, that's a whole story. Mm-hmm. Why don't I just love that book? Love the author, love the characters, protagonist, antagonist, showed love. It's a beautiful thing. It was created by this beautiful thing we call the earth. Here's some of my energy.
Well, love overpowers, man.
Yeah. Love wins.
Yeah.
Just letting people know that you see them.
Yeah.
She probably sees, thousands of people coming into the gym every day, and for you to, hey, I appreciate what you do here. That helps out more than anything, as you can see. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's like the coolest thing is, so I'm a student, right? And I go through the whole process and changing my life, and then they ask me to become a staff member. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And this is how long? After the 2.5 years?
3 years.
After it's 3 years. Okay.
So 3 years. I was a student. I did my.
Okay.
When I started, it was a 2-year program. So I did the 2 years, and then I wanted to stay for a third year. So I did my third year, and getting to the end of it, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life, and didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. Do I want to go back into construction? Do I want to do, all these ideas and thoughts? And do I want to open my new business? Do I want to? And it's like, those things are okay, and I've done those things in the past, but they never gave me truly happiness. You know what I mean? They didn't give me fulfillment. They didn't give me a purpose. Okay, purpose is the key thing.
Yes.
Purpose is the key thing. And today I have purpose. I have people that rely on me today. I have people that are waiting for me to show up in their lives. I have purpose today, and to have the opportunity to do what I've been doing for 3 years to get my life back, and then you want me to stick around and keep doing it. Hell yeah, of course, always yes. But that's the best thing about working there, is I get to see the people come into that bench that are broken, just like me. And then a year down the road, and then 2 years down the road, and then 3 years down the road, to see how these people turn out. Oh my gosh, you talk about that feeling of, seeing somebody change and be something different. The feeling, that high of watching people grow, and because when they come, they're soulless. They are. That's what we are. We're a shell. They're dark. Their eyes are dark. They're timid. They're quiet. They have their head held down. They have no, they have no light in them. And then to see them, like, even within 6 months to a year, that light, all of a sudden they're smiling again. They start to see, oh man, the purpose they have, and that is why I do the things I do. That's why I still stay at the Other Side Academy, is because I see miracles every day there. Anytime a new person comes and sits on that bench, there's a possibility that he's going to stick around and change his life. That's a miracle, that is a miracle today.
Absolutely. Well, and each miracle that's sitting on that bench creates how many more miracles?
Oh, yeah, it really does, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does, because, like I said, when I showed up there and, okay, here we go to another program, but then I get to see people, that I knew from my past that were completely lost and broken, and to see them as it was them, but it wasn't them,
right. Yeah, exactly right.
Like, it's all worth it,
It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen that little statue or sculpture. So I was going to this place for a while, a couple of years back, called Ageless Men's Health.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed this guy with this hammer and this chisel, and it's like he's chiseled all this stuff, and it was down to where it was almost about at his waist. And up above, he's all chiseled. He looks great, and then down below, he's like this fat, blubbery mess. It's kind of what it's reminding me of, is like you're chiseling away, because like you said, you're just a shell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're chiseling away this shell. You're getting rid of it. And it brings something up that I saw, and I can't remember where I saw it, and I don't remember who said it, but it says, if you crack an egg from the outside, you've created death. So like basically, if there's like a chick or something in there, you crack from the outside, you've created death. However, if the shell cracks from the inside, a beautiful life has been created.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my freaking hell, that means, I mean, seriously, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Because it is, right? I mean, what comes out of this, it's almost kind of like the caterpillar and the cocoon thing.
Yep.
I think I even shared that in my talk with my wife when we were in St. George. It's like, I'm watching her crawl around as this caterpillar, lost and going all this direction. Then finally one day she wrapped herself in a cocoon, and now she's like, she's out fluttering all over and just catching the wind and just enjoying life and seeing the blessings. And is life still throwing curveballs at her? Well, absolutely. It's going to continue to do it until we're in the ground, to all of us.
Yeah.
However, you now have different tools, or now you have the belief enough in yourself to go, oh, man, I'll get through this, because look what I've just dug myself out of, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's something I try to continue to do every day is be uncomfortable. Push myself to be uncomfortable. Because when I'm comfortable, I stop learning. I stop growing when I'm comfortable. Yeah. If I'm in a safe place, if I can sit back and do my thing and coast, I stop learning. I stop growing. Mm-hmm. So every day I do something that's going to make me uncomfortable. That's going to make me learn something. That's going to push me to be better. To give me drive to do something different. Because if I sit back in comfortability, I don't learn anything. It's just okay. My life just passes by. And I don't want my life just to pass by. I didn't get clean and sober and work my butt off to just watch my life pass by, And I see that a lot in different people is, okay, I just got clean and sober. Okay, cool. Good for you. Like that, believe me, that I get that. I understand that. But then now what? Now what are you doing? You got the clean and sober part. You're clean and sober, but now what are you doing? Are you pushing yourself? Like, are you going for your goals? Are you trying to be that, that baseball player that you've always talked about? Are you trying to be that whatever? Like, why stop at just staying clean and sober and working your 9-to-5 job or whatever that looks like for you? Why not keep pushing? You've already done the hardest part ever,
right?
So why stop? Why are you stopping?
I agree.
Yeah, and just combining what you guys said, because the creating and with the egg and cracking from the outside, and then yours growing pains, be uncomfortable, because guess what, growing is uncomfortable. And then one of my favorite phrases from my swimming coach, she says, never find yourself. You're going to be just on another Google search and people will tell you what you are. You have to create yourself, and guess what, it sucks, but it is way more rewarding. Don't find yourself, create yourself. Just like everyone is a story, we get to write that.
Oh yeah,
That
You're
hurts
your own
'cause we have to
author.
go like trial and error. We have to try, because usually like if we just do what someone else tells us and we don't have all the instructions, so just keep.
Well, you know what,
yourselves.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Mason. And here's just a quick little brief story of after I lost my job in 2009. For 24 years, I worked at the same place. Lost my job. I wanted to figure out who I was as a person. I thought I was this really good person. Come to find out, I'm thinking, or hearing also that I'm not as good as I thought I was. So who am I? I want to do some soul searching. I also didn't want to work for corporate America ever again. What I was going to do, I had no clue. I didn't know what I was going to do. I've done construction as well. I did start helping my brother build his concrete business and stuff, but I was trying so many different things. And I even remember my mom saying, just go get a frickin' normal job. Wouldn't it be better? And I'm like, no, because it's not what I want to do. Well, what is it you want to do? I really don't flippin' know. But I'm doing all these different things. And I was talking about it in my presentation today that a lady friend bought this book, What's Your Why or Find Your Why. And I read it, and I'm thinking, after I read it, I'm like, holy shit, what is my why?
It's a good book.
What is it?
Yeah.
I mean, really, I'm really thinking, what is it? Okay, well, I've accomplished this in my life, and usually if I got a job, I was promoted pretty quick because I escalated really, really quick. And now that I don't have this, where is it that I'm going? And so I build this relationship with a lot of people because of a lot of networking that I've done, and people would bring me in for this, and then once I guess did what they were asking me to do, then I was looking again, and I just kept bouncing around. And it's so crazy, I found my why through my wife's addiction. It's so freaking crazy, but again, I didn't sit still. I didn't sit home. Now, financially struggling, oh hell yeah, man. There were times I didn't even know where a freaking car payment was coming. Still, sometimes to this day, I don't even know where rent money's coming from. And I'm working 2 jobs. Yeah. And it's like, but I just kept going. As my friend Nicholas T. Smith said, from a tribe of giants who was a guest on our show, you start connecting your dots backwards. You connect your dots of life backwards. Where you're at today, start going backwards. And I did that. I started thinking back, and I started going, holy shit. I was being groomed. From that first day I decided I was going to start working on myself, I was being groomed the whole time to put me exactly where I'm supposed to be right this very freaking instant. Because if it wasn't for me doing all these different things, I wouldn't have built the courage. I wouldn't have built the strength to just say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like when we started this podcast, I don't have an effing clue. I'm just going to take that step and let's see where it goes. Now here it is coming up on almost 2 years. The studio's changed. I've changed. Brad's changed. The Resilience Talk Network's it's like you went through, Colin, everything you went through to put you right frickin' here right now because this is what you were meant to do. Yeah. What's going to happen in the future? I don't know, but whatever dots you were jumping on to here, 5 years from now, connect them backwards and you're going, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was supposed to do, whether it was good or bad. Yeah. Right? So, and I do my best to even when my kids were younger, and now that our grandkids are getting older, it's like, just go. And my daughter and my son, they're so good with the kids. It's whatever they want to try, they let them do it. How do you know? Just freaking go do it. We'll pay for it. Get out there and go do it. If it doesn't work and you don't like it, try something else. Yeah.
The wilderness is supposed to be explored.
Right? So, yeah. And I really do believe I know people who work at a job that cannot stand their freaking job, and they've been there for 30 years maybe. Yeah. But they can't stand it. Are they happy? Hell no. Yeah. They're happy as soon as they punch out. Yeah. They're miserable come Monday. Yeah. Why do you want to live a life like that? Comfortable. Yeah, they're comfortable. I wish I had a paycheck coming in constantly. Well, I do, but I mean,
yeah,
get out
but
there.
I see that. I see that all the time. I've seen that, in my family too. Is people do their thing, they work, but they're they're not happy, and why?
Yeah.
Why not? You can change it whenever you want. You know what I mean? Maybe you might not make it, like, to me, I always thought, to being a man was you had to make a certain amount of money. To be a man, you had to go to war. To be a man, you had to make $1 million or whatever it was. To
have
be
a house and a boat and a beautiful wife and blah blah blah.
All the story or whatever. And honestly, like those things are great and everything, but those things never gave me the true happiness as helping somebody else. Yeah.
Well, and that'll follow you into
the
next life. I mean, seriously, it will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It will. I don't know.
And I believe the connections and the love you build here follow you.
Yeah.
My boat, my $1 million mansion or whatever it will it'll never follow me.
That's a huge burial site. You want to add that shit in with it.
Right.
It kind of reminds you of the Egyptians, right?
Yeah.
When they buried their kings, I mean, holy shit, their carriages and all kinds of shit went in because they're taking that to the afterlife.
Because they had it backwards.
Yeah, it was backwards. Yeah.
It's become someone else's shit.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, it's crazy. Colin, is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up here?
Man, kind of put me on the spot. No, the only thing I would want to add is it's never too late. It's never too late. If you want to do something different, if you're unhappy, whatever it is, it's never too late to do something different. And just anybody out there that if you're struggling, if you want to do something different, there's places. The Other Side Academy saved my life, 100%. If you're struggling, ask for help. Being vulnerable is not a weakness. Being vulnerable is a strength.
Yes.
And we get it confused. Asking somebody for help is never a weakness. And there's people there that have been where you've been that want to help. But you need to ask.
I love that because you do need to ask, man. We can't do this alone, guys. Those who are in the recovery or want to get recovered again, you need the help, and you need people like Collin and other people out there like at TASA and other places to help back you and help support you during the times when it does get tough, because it gets tough. And I've heard many people say, it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
It's definitely
absolutely
worth it.
And I think people look at the other side. Oh, that's so hard. It's not hard. It's uncomfortable a lot. Making change. If change was easy, everybody would do it. You know what I mean? It's just if change was easy. Oh, I want to change. I'm going to do it. No, it's uncomfortable. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to, never quit. If you want something different, you got to put the time into it.
Well, it's with anything, right? I weighed 198 pounds when I lost my job, and my weekends my Fridays and Saturdays was snorting cocaine and drinking.
Yeah.
That was my release after working my ass off all week. And, I'm like, I got to change. And it took till probably about 2011. I finally said, okay, I keep thinking about it. Why am I not doing it? So I finally started hitting the gym and here I am almost 60, and I think I look better now than I did back when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's not too late. Doesn't matter how old you are, where life has taken you.
Yeah.
Just take that step, man. How are you going to know if you don't take that step? And put the work into it.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems I think society has, is society wants a lot of things to change in their life, and they want different stuff, right? Yeah. But they're not willing to put. Robert Kiyosaki said it. Robert Kiyosaki has made his millions doing real estate. He paid, I think he said $2,500, went to a real estate class, and he goes, that room was full of hundreds of people that paid $2,500 to take this class. He goes, the problem was there was probably only 1% that actually did what was asked because no one wants to do the work.
Yeah.
They want the $2,500 paid for someone to do the work for them so they can make the millions. And he says, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I have the money that I have today and have written this book and all this other stuff is because I did the work.
Yeah.
You guys are doing the work.
Yeah.
Now
always.
you're doing your best to help other people do the work. And yeah, change, it's not easy and it doesn't matter whether you're coming out of the addiction or anything. Change is definitely not, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But if you really want to change, then frickin', yeah, get your ass off the couch and go frickin' do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
It's like that. Like people are like, I'm not good at math, or I'm not good at baseball, or whatever it is. I'm not good at that, so I'm not going to do it, or I'm just not going to do it. It's like, have you, I'm bad at math. Well, have you practiced? Have you asked for help? Well, no, I'm just, okay. I can't hit a baseball. Well, have you practiced? No. It's like, come on, man. If you want to do something different, if that's something you want to do, then you need to put the work, like you've been saying. And that's the biggest thing is we all want change, but we want it wrapped up in this present, and we open it up and all of a sudden we're changed. Yeah. And that's not how I didn't get to where I am today because it was easy for me, absolutely not. I got to where I am today is because I put in the work. I showed up every day, even the days that I didn't want to show up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Which were probably a lot of them.
Yeah. When the days when I was tired from being on the move late at night at the Other Side Academy, and it's like my family's hungry, just like you do your stay at the other side as you would when you leave, So yeah. I know my family's hungry, and so I got to get to work, I got to provide. People rely on me today, and they continue to, and that's why I have to show up every day, That's why I want to show up, I get the opportunity to save other lives, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely.
And my goal every day is to just have a conversation with somebody or say something or help somebody in any way it is at the Other Side Academy, whether it's somebody's struggling or whether I go pick somebody up from jail or prison and bring them home, because that's what it is. It's a home. If I have that opportunity to do that, I've done my goal for that day, Yeah.
Well, and you've made your life happy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that sit miserable.
Yeah.
and I think it's not really, I don't know if I guess it is. I could hear Dave's voice in the background. They are choosing to be miserable. So instead of doing something to make a change, right? And again, even if you don't know what it is, there's something. Just figure it out, or just try something, right? Or ask, because there are tons of people out there that are willing to help.
Yeah.
I mean, when I decided to do this podcast, I didn't have the money to buy a microphone and a camera. I didn't have it, and thanks to people even like Brad, he's like, well, do you know businesses? Yeah, I know tons of businesses. I worked for the chamber and been involved with chambers for years. Do you think you can get a sponsor? Yeah, I could probably get a sponsor. Go get a sponsor. This is how much you need. A week and a half later, we're freaking recording. And it's because he kind of gave me that idea, and that's all I needed was just that little teeny spark and going, what can I do with it?
Yeah.
What can I do with this now? And now here it is. We've been blessed with so many sponsors that
that's awesome.
Got us to where we don't have a sheet behind us anymore. And we've got signs and a beautiful wall, and we grew a tree overnight and cameras, and I mean, it's just crazy. So, yeah. Mason, is there anything you'd like to share before we sign off? Because I know we got Live, Truth, and Spirit coming in.
Can I do the line? I'm just kidding.
You want to do the line?
I've watched it so much.
Yeah,
well, just like what most co-hosts do is just thank you guys both for letting me be in on this experience.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me come from the other side
to
the other side to learn from the other side.
I love it.
So thank you guys.
I love it.
The good energy exchange, the love, the communication. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to the both of you. Appreciate your time, and Mason, again, thank you for even being behind the scenes when your dad's out working and season's picking up for him, so he's not going to be here a lot. So I really do. I want you to know how much I appreciate you being here to do this. And guys, thank you to all our sponsors, all our listeners, to Resilience Talk Network, man. Thank you to everyone, man. We just appreciate you guys, love you guys so much. And again, none of this would be possible. And keep watching our promo vehicle. I mean, we're going to do a quick promo before you get out of here.
Okay.
I'm glad I remember that, because usually I forget, and then we do it after our guest is gone. Anyway, and be sure to be watching our live shows. We do our live shows, guys. We just had our 4th one yesterday, And we do it, our fifth one, we do it every Wednesday at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. And we've got some really kick-ass guests that are coming on. And that is more information. And as a matter of fact, we've got Dave and Robin, like I said, is coming on here in the next few weeks or whatever. They're going to come in and talk about the other side of Academy, which is really going to be cool. Because, again, we want to share more information for our listeners and let them know all kinds of different things that are out there that they don't know. Other support groups. I'm even now starting to run things in my head that I'm even thinking about wanting to start a support group for families. You know, even though there's a few like, you know, Craft Family Support Group, but I think it would be cool to have a place. And it's not, I don't want an Al-Anon. I want something different where people can come in and just sit down and talk. And I'm not knocking Al-Anon. It just wasn't a fit for me. That's why I don't want an Al-Anon. Just want a place where someone can sit down and we can sit down and have a conversation and a chat and have more positivity instead of the negativity that's coming in. So, guys, we'll leave you with this as we do every week. You want to say it? Go for it. I put him on the spot. I nailed him.
Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.
We're out. He nailed it.
Nailed it. Watch it.